Hey guys, really nice to meet you guys again. Wow, in such a short time, we've all came and started to play the game towards something amazing. I've seen people really shine, and that's truly amazing. Um, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about myself and something that is really close to my heart, um, and that is my personal journey. Everybody has their scars, and I have mine. Um, and some of them can change or have changed me in such a way from a young child, from a time that I was a young child. And the effects of that is that I developed something that then was described as being manically depressed. Currently is called bipolar, and I really prefer the name of being bipolar. It's like the two poles of a magnet. Both emotions of the good ones and the bad ones are felt much more extreme. So the darkness can be felt as the it can only be described as the deepest pits of hell that physically will make you sick, because I've been there. I've tried to pacify it. I actually once was 115 kilos. In American standards, I think that's 250 pounds, but I'm not sure on that. Um, but what I did also know, and I had a lucky break, is when I finally, or in a way, I deserved or earned my first real kiss. And what happened is that something woke up with me that I can describe as much more magnificent than any planned journey I've ever taken. It was as if I was the sun, radiant and wild. The crazy thing though is that next day, of course, I was still high on whatever happened because I didn't know that it could be true. But she got cold feet and I was left stranded. And that's why I know so well how the brain can put you into a prison, because I've been part of that prison for far too long. Another thing is when I got my diagnosis, at least they tried, is that in the beginning of my, let's say, sadder situation, I self-medicated through the antidepressants of my mom. Something that I would not advise, but it is something very valuable because I did discover that it completely numbs you from the chin down. A naked lady could be in front of me trying to call me in, and I would just smile and say goodbye. And as a young guy of 22 then, it's not something to live by. But enough about the sad times. What I knew as well when I was in the process is that, and knowing what I knew then about the powerful crap that the medicine of antidepressants represent, is that an inner voice within me said, no, 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 that's not the life for you. So that's also when I developed my skill to hide in plain sight. I've created my persona and passed with flying colors because I was cured in their eyes. And now I know that I was, because then my journey started. And many dark days were part of that journey. They were. There were some highs, and every time when I was in a high, I created something magnificent. I've created something cool. I had a company where we made film. I've made documentaries, and I had a crew that I'm still very proud of and very happy that during this process I reconnected with in my total state of enjoyment. Um, the biggest shift in my consciousness was during the edit of a film I did about a tribal gathering within Panama. One of the guests there talked about his most spiritual experience, and that was his ayahuasca. He explained it as, at first, I would explain myself as an atheist. Currently, not anymore. And I remember the hair standing straight up in the back of my hand. And 2 days later, I had my first ayahuasca experience. In Holland, they're allowed, so I'm a lucky one. And within that experience, instead of facing all my demons, she showed me love and she showed me kindness. And I was able to hug my younger self and give him relief. And another thing that really helped me is that after I gave him relief, all of a sudden the yeah, how would you call it? The stage changed, and all of a sudden I saw all the elements from behind. And that's actually where this comes from. Because how big is my hand? And how big is it now? The size didn't really change, but the perspective did. And that brought me on my true journey, on figuring out like, I'm not the label. I'm not whatever someone else is trying to put on to me, because the consequences are that I will be poisoned by something that will not serve me. So my shamanic journey started. That's also why I started to become interested in life coaching, because I knew I was on the right path and a path that I wanted to share. As I proudly pronounced in a previous video, I graduated as a life coach, and it's part of something that I want to share. One thing that I discovered also during that ayahuasca, and yes, I did have more experiences after that, but the first one was very significant, is that we do not need less sadness, because next to awesomeness in the world, there will be trouble. But the trouble is not the thing that makes us sad. It's our reaction towards the trouble that keeps us sad. Because another thing that I wanted to tell you is that, think about it. Our past is nothing more than our perspective of what we think that happened. Because the yes I say yes, it's actually very funny that I didn't get out of my word. The yes that I said now, or the mistake I made previous, is something that is only still vividly alive within your mind. Therefore, the past is nothing more than something within the mind, as the future is nothing more than something within the mind. But what I do believe, also by reading all the books about manifesting the awesome life, they talk about the subconscious mind, and they talk about the tools of stating clearly on what you want and pronouncing it with the heart or pronouncing it with the subconscious. And I believe it's the feeling mind that is the powerful one that will get you started and will get you actually the thing that you really need. And it's also true because it's not that you get what you want, because you never will. You get what you are. And to be honest, everybody knows it. If you're sad, you'll get sadness. If you're angry, you'll get in a fight. If you want love, be in love. If you want to have a good time, be amazing. Because you are amazing. You're alive. And all the stories you might tell yourself that of troubles in the past, no, not having it anymore. Yeah, just wanted to share this with you, a little backstory, because once again, many Easter eggs were part of the previous vlogs. Yeah, thank you. See you in the next one.